We were out here under this overhang, but we got into that eastern eye wall again, and the wind was just too strong. You can see how it's swaying these huge lights up to the top. Look at the wind blow the water out of the fountain. Okay, I mean, look at how strong it is. Coming in basically due south here is what we're seeing. So too much glass, not a great place to be, obviously with that wind blowing, so we've come in out of harm's way. But this building's been compromised. There are several areas in it where there are either holes in the roof, where there are windows broken, where we've had air conditioning units been ripped off the building. There's water flowing in one side of the building. So it's trying to breathe. I mean, think about that. You have all this wind rolling through these holes, and it's trying to get in and out. So, I mean, listen to the building. I'm going to walk over here again, and I want you guys, whoever's on microphones back at the Weather Channel, turn this up a little bit, because it sounds like a chainsaw, right? Listen. I mean, incredible.
That was Storm Tracker Jim Cantore, of course, late last night or early this morning in Lake Charles, Louisiana, about 300 miles or so north of there here in Little Rock. I'm meteorologist Chris Warren here in the heart of Arkansas, and want to talk a little bit about some of the variables, some of the unknowns that can happen when we get tropical systems this far north with tropical storm warnings in place, flash flooding a possibility, and that is simply just stuff in the water. There was a log. I don't know, can you see it? Can you still see it? Well, we're going to see it slide over. So there's a battle going on right now. The winds associated with Laura pushing the water east, or pushing it west. You can see that's the direction that the water is moving, and it's gone now. But the actual flow, actually, there's another log right down here. But the point is, there's going to be stuff in the water, right? And it can be flash flooding, it can be local streams, rivers, and it can be animals that are in the water that typically wouldn't be in the water or in your backyard if there's flooding, or it can be logs. Things can be dangerous. So there's a lot of things that happen once the weather interacts with the earth, when it interacts with the land and people's property. So just one thing that we're watching right here, and still keeping track of the winds and seeing the clouds zipping by as the storm continues to get closer and closer and deeper into Arkansas. And Alex, we're still really getting a handle on the extent of the damage, aren't we, in South Louisiana?
Absolutely. You know, we're starting to get some aerial footage coming in as they're starting to, look at the damage, assess it via the air, and also getting into the areas that they can. This is a Coast Guard flight over southwestern Louisiana, giving you a sense of the water inundation that made its way around some of these homes. Now, we know this is low country. We've got a lot of marshlands, a lot of water around in these counties. So low spots. A lot of these homes that we've seen are on stilts, but you can see how that water did manage to inundate much of the region. Now, some of the structures that were on stilts, they were able to do okay in terms of the water, but the wind took a lot of those out. Now, this is some new video of the damage in Cameron, and unfortunately, these mobile homes, these manufactured homes, they have a difficult time withstanding the wind. A lot of the roofs and the second stories, if there are on some of these homes, are those that sustain damage. Now, some you can see of maybe the newer homes did a little bit better, still roof damage, but you look all in all, I think sometimes we look at these videos, we see some of the homes that are destroyed, but we're given a little hope that some of them seem to have fared okay.
And I'll say this, and it may sound weird to hear this, but I think because they took a direct hit from the northern eye wall, that the surge wasn't that bad. It was more wind damage than anything else. If they were on the eastern eye wall where you'd get a direct surge of water come in, I think the scene might have been a little bit different.
Oh,
they
totally.
were saved by a direct hit. That's weird to say.
Yeah, very odd, but when you actually think about it, it's very true.
And listen, the homes have to be built to a certain code, especially all the new ones, and so the codes are working, and so it's worth the investment, as you can see there. All right, I want to show you some of the other images out of Lake Charles, Louisiana, some before and after images to give you an indication of what's happened there. La Quinta Hotel here in Lake Charles, that's the before. I think we've all seen, similar hotels before, if not the La Quinta itself, but then you see that we've got some pretty significant roof damage here. 2 different areas. Obviously, the wind's coming in this direction and taking portions of the roof off there. That's over a portico right there, so maybe winds got up and underneath and just lifted the roof right off. But a lot of different areas that are just like pockmarked right now with wind damage across Lake Charles. We'll take you back there live coming up here on Weather Underground.
This grilling forecast brought to you by Budweiser. Join the team that enjoys responsibly. Budweiser reminds you to drink wiser.
This Labor Day, crack open a Budweiser and experience the refreshing taste of a long weekend. Make the most of your Labor Day by picking up Budweiser today.
At Philadelphia, we know what makes the perfect smear of cream cheese. You need only the freshest milk and cream. That one. And the world's best, and possibly only, Chamelier. Philadelphia, schmear perfection.
This is my body of proof. Proof I can fight moderate to severe rheumatoid arthritis.
Proof I can fight psoriatic arthritis. With Humira.
Proof of less joint pain.
And clearer skin in PSA.
Humira targets and blocks a source of inflammation that contributes to joint pain and irreversible damage.
Humira can lower your ability to fight infections. Serious and sometimes fatal infections, including tuberculosis and cancers, including lymphoma, have happened, as have blood, liver, and nervous system problems, serious allergic reactions, and new or worsening heart failure. Tell your doctor if you've been to areas where certain fungal infections are common, and if you've had TB, hepatitis B, are prone to infections, or have flu-like symptoms or sores. Don't start Humira if you have an infection.
Humira is proven to help stop further joint damage.
Want more proof? Ask your rheumatologist about Humira citrate-free.
If you can't afford your medicine, AbbVie may be able to help.
And we've upgraded her with the Sonic Shield and holographic mapping drones.
Impressive.
There is one more thing.
Jake from State Farm.
Here's the deal. With the Drive Safe and Save app, you'll save up to 30% for being a safe driver and get a discount just for signing up.
Well played, Jake from State Farm. As usual.
When you want the real deal, like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
How do you think they make Starburst taste so juicy?
Starburst? Juice-Dradic equation. Super top secret mathematical formula they keep stored inside a safe, inside a vault, inside a volcano.
Oh, Juice-Dradics.
Starburst, unexplainably juicy.
Is that net carbs or total? Not enough fiber. Chocolate would be good.
Snacking should be sweet and simple. The delicious taste of Glucerna gives you the sweetness you crave while helping you manage your blood sugar with nutrients to help support immune health.
Now you can make any morning of the week feel like the weekend with Jimmy Dean Simple Scrambles. Made fresh with 2 real eggs, sausage, and cheese. And ready in seconds.
Why don't you put a Sunday morning shine on tomorrow morning's breakfast?
Widespread damage in much of this area.
Welcome into this special extended edition of Weather Underground. Less than 24 hours after landfall, the storm's still going strong. Meteorologist Chris Warren is live in Little Rock, where the rain has been coming down hard with gusts over 40 miles an hour at times today.
Yeah, and then along the Louisiana coastline, We're getting a first-hand look at some of Laura's destruction. We will eventually check in with Chris Bruin. He's on the ground there coming up in just a little bit. We do want to show you what's happening currently with Laura. We've gotten the new advisory in Arkansas now, 35 miles south of Little Rock at this point. It's making a turn here off to the north-northeast, going to go through northeastern Arkansas and then spin its way pretty quickly, grabbing some westerlies and spinning quickly through Kentucky and Tennessee. The unfortunate part of this is we still have quite a few thunderstorms associated with it and even flash flooding and tornadoes happening for us right now. Several tornado warnings in effect here east and northeast of Little Rock tonight. Jackson, White, and Woodruff counties are under tornado warnings right now, including the towns of Bradford and Tupelo here. And you can see that there are little notches and little spins within these lines. And then we take out the precipitation, and the software and the radar can show you where the velocities are or the winds. Spin right in here. It's come past Tupelo now, but could be headed across Highway 67 and toward Bradford. Storms moving roughly 45 miles per hour. We urge you to take shelter quickly here in Bradford. 7:13 is the anticipated arrival time of that. Let's back it up toward the Fair Oaks area here, and we have Cross County under a tornado warning as well. Same thing here. You're going to get little spins. There's some spin right down here, and that could head towards, say, Pumpkin Bend over toward Beattyville here. So be ready for the storm to head your way. McFadden, could you be in the path? It's possible. 7:16, the arrival time for you. And then a place like Amigan here around 7:33. Treat it like you would a springtime tornado. Go to the lowest level of your home. Take shelter in the interior room. If you have a basement, also a good place for you to be for the next several hours. In fact, we've got a tornado watch that extends until 9 o'clock tonight. New one that goes over and includes Memphis. And that goes through the night tonight. We've got a Torcon of 3. So we do have a chance, at least, for more tornadoes to occur for us for the remainder of the evening. Does kind of nip us here in West Tennessee, and then down through southern Louisiana, around New Orleans. Can't even rule out a chance, at least, that we're going to get some spiraling bands that extend in that direction as well. Jackson, Mississippi, we'd be involved as well. Again, it's not a high risk for tornadoes, and most of the tornadoes we'll see will be short-lived, quick spin-ups here. But I say this all the time, Alex, if you happen to be the neighborhood underneath that tornado, it's a very bad day.
Absolutely. Meteorologist Chris Warren, he's live for us tonight in a very active state of Arkansas. Little Rock has seen some really heavy rain at times. And, you know, Chris, we look on the northeast side of the state. We could still be seeing significant rainfall in some of these communities.
Yeah, we're going to show you a little bit later what we went through as it was happening and give you an idea of what is still on the way for areas going into the northeast part of the state as this system, as Laura makes its right-hand turn around Jonesboro and over and just north of or very close to Memphis. But we can show you right now what is still left over. And, of course, that is, as there's a big hill right here, and it's sort of terraced. But there's, some standing water, some kind of, big puddles around is right here. If you were watching us a couple hours ago, this water looked like it was boiling because I think there's a drainage pipe that's underwater, and the force that was coming down under the water right here, the absolute force that came down, looked like the water was being pushed up, and or like there's like a jet propulsion. It was that kind of intense water that was just kind of overturning as the city of Little Rock was draining into the Arkansas River here. And then right down here, a little bit of debris you can see. So this is some trees, and these might have been dead, but certainly this is new. And you see, fresh green, that's usually the wind, and the other stuff may have just been ready to be blown down. And then if you were watching us a little bit earlier, we came down here and we stopped at the end, but you see where we're kind of walking into what looks like a concrete wall, and then it's more of a retaining wall around the edge. There was like several waterfalls essentially cascading down as up here, quite a ways up in downtown Little Rock, right along the river. But we were seeing all of that water from all of the streets and just draining out, and it's just that rush. But now, if you were sleeping through it, you wouldn't really have known it. Now, it probably would have been hard to sleep through it because the way, Alex, it was coming down, the force and just how heavy the rain was likely Mike absolutely just slamming into people's windows. But right now, certainly getting a little bit of a breather. Not saying we're completely done with the wind and all the rain, but I don't think it's going to be as bad as it was before.
No, I think the worst of it is beyond you now. I am interested to see, what the winds will do. It's a little breezy there at times. I'm interested to see what happens. I think the center circulation is going to come right over top of Little Rock, and it's just going to be a very calm evening for you. Again, as Chris had mentioned, though, we still have some ways to go here in Arkansas. That center of circulation is just south of Little Rock right now by about 35 miles with the newest advisory. There's the really intense storm line here, and all on the eastern side is where we've had the severe weather and the tornado warnings, although we do have now this flash flood warning that does include Searcy and Conway tonight. So Lonoke, Pulaski, and White counties do have that flash flood warning until 9:20 tonight. Look at the accumulations here in some places. Almost 4 inches of rain in the past 3 hours, so more than enough to cause some issues tonight. It's still raining. Some of the radar estimated accumulations here south of Little Rock, 5.5 inches. Near Monroe, about 4.5 inches of rain has come down for us. But let's get over to the tornado warnings. They're getting closer to Memphis, and Memphis is under a tornado watch tonight. Lee, St. Francis, and Tunica counties all under tornado warnings right now. These storms are moving pretty quickly, roughly 45 miles per hour. And this warning until 7:30 this evening. Going to see if we can find any spin in that velocity right in there, just a little bit, not clearly defined, a little bit better earlier. But these things will happen just brief minutes, and then they're gone. And sometimes it'll happen, before the next radar scan even comes in. But please be ready around Hughes. That storm could come over, say, Highway 79 for us tonight, head toward Rollinson or Widener. So in a place like Peters, 706, that's now. In Council, 711, and Rollinson around 720. And all those places, go to your safe shelter and protect yourself from a possible tornado coming your way. We do have active tornado watches still out there, including in Arkansas. That's until 9 o'clock this evening. We have another watch that extends. I'm going to see what's the expiration on the other watch. I didn't exactly. Oops, let me get rid of that for you. Let me get the exact location on that. The Memphis one does not want to pop in there, does it? 9 o'clock, I guess, is where on that one is. But anyway, Memphis, we're now included. They've extended it just over to the east, we'll say. All right, so there's a look at the Torcon for us. That is a Torcon of 3. Again, it's not a high risk for tornadoes. The risk is going to be there. Brief, short-lived, weak tornadoes. But again, just be ready for something to come your way. You don't want to sustain damage or even be caught outside in these situations. For the remainder of the evening, we've got the Torcon of 3. Again, lower end threat. But I'm still impressed, though, Alex, how persistent the tornado warnings have been over the past couple of hours.
Yeah, I mean, we've still been dealing with a very potent threat out of this storm. So please don't think that just because it's inland, it's no longer a problem. Yeah. I have some new video to share with you. This is Coast Guard rescues underway in Louisiana, where the Louisiana National Guard has also been activated across the state. Here, they are going to rescue some of our four-legged friends. Aw. So, yeah, we talked about this last night, about people who leave their animals behind, and good people like this go out there and try to get those animals to safety. So luckily here, a happy ending for this little guy. And he gets some belly rubs and pets. So hats off to the rescuers who are out there working to help people and, of course, animals who were maybe forgotten. Maybe the people evacuated and didn't take the pets with them. Let's get you caught up on what we know right now. The mayor of Lake Charles, Louisiana, says his city was hit hard, describing some neighborhoods, saying it looked like a bomb went off. The strongest wind gusts with Laura were clocked there in Lake Charles, the strongest the state has seen in 164 years, over 130 miles per hour. The NWS radar site at the Lake Charles office was destroyed in the storm. Remember, they actually evacuated the Lake Charles office. They handed over responsibility to the Galveston office. They weren't dealing, or Brownsville, I believe it was, Brownsville office. They took over so that National Weather Service folks there in Lake Charles could get out of the path of this storm. Flood alerts remain. Bettis was just talking about the possibility of tornadoes still moving forward. Heavy flooding rainfall, still something that we're watching for, unfortunately. So flash flood watches remain in effect, where some areas could still pick up a half a foot of rain. That's when you get up into the purple. That's the 5 to 8 inch total still yet to come. I think a place like Little Rock could see between 1 and 2 additional inches. So Chris Warren not done with the rain just yet. We look at all the reports that came in, 144 reports from wind and hurricane to down trees, and also water. Some water reports coming in because of the heavy rain. Here in El Dorado, this is Arkansas, a wind of nearly 60 miles an hour. So you also get a sense of just how strong the winds were that far inland. At Barksdale Air Force Base near Shreveport, large trees taken down. So again, really strong winds working well inland. Flash flooding overnight and into tomorrow. We'll be watching a good chunk of Arkansas as well as portions of southeastern Louisiana, Mike.
I want to give you some good indication of what the hurricane did. It pummeled places like Lake Charles, Louisiana. Did you see some of the buildings there? This was last night. The winds were really cranking here. Yeah, no, and all the windows in the building were popping. They were all just shaking back and forth and back and forth. Eventually they give. And then you take a look at what it was like afterwards in the daylight hours. Would the building end up looking like that right there? Look at all the windows that were broken as a result. I think I heard the mayor say it looked like some of the buildings look like Swiss cheese. And by the way, that building is the tallest building in Lake Charles as well, and it's all glass. So meteorologist Chris Bruin is on the ground for us, giving us a good idea of what's happened for us in Lake Charles. And really, it seemed like, Chris, more than anything, it really was the wind more than any water intrusion.
Mm-hmm. Hands down, we haven't seen much in the way of flooding at all. In fact, by now, no streets are flooded. Earlier this morning, we had some water on the roads, but this is a wind damage situation for the most part across Lake Charles. You mentioned string cheese. That was what the mayor had said. Look at this. When you look at the tower here, this is that story we were talking about for KPLC. The local news station, half of it completely intertwined, looking like spaghetti and just mangled. The wind did that, folks. And then take a look at this business. We're going street by street. This is Division and Ryan Street, downtown Lake Charles, okay? And take a look at the brick facade here, or facade on the side of Gigi's downtown. That's actually a fitness center. And the whole side of that brick wall in the second story collapsed inside. And you can see streetscapes down here. Walk with me for a second. Debris littered. These are bricks and insulation. There are nails. By the way, I actually got a nail in my tire today. So if you're thinking about coming back, note that most roads have debris, nails, and or are inaccessible with power lines and trees down. But this is what it looks like, street after street after street in Lake Charles, Louisiana. And then check that out. That's the iconic feature, I think, after Hurricane Laura. Everyone's gonna remember the Capital One Tower here. Window after window just blown out. I would say at least 30 or more offices in there, just a complete shambles or almost total loss. Gonna have to rip out all the drywall with the water that got in. When you open up that window, even just one, it just allows the rest of the building to fall apart all the more quickly. But one thing I have noticed, guys, and just putting pieces together, remember this area was heavily devastated after Rita, so a lot of the community has been rebuilt, and there's been a lot of growth here too. In fact, this whole complex is fairly new, and look how well it held, even among those types of winds that we have seen, Alex. So that tells me building codes are getting better, and I think we're really seeing that now with how strong Laura was and the type of damage that we're seeing on those newer built homes.
Yeah, we're seeing more and more of these structures that were able to survive the storm. We're going to get back to Chris Bruin and Chris Warren. We'll get back to both the Chris's in just a moment. Right now, I want to take you up into the Northeast where we've got active warnings, including a severe warning in New York City. The threats are going to be the winds in excess of 60 miles an hour and penny-sized hail. Now, this is moving out of the city and continuing southeast over portions of Long Island. So we've been watching Bronx, New York, Queens, the counties. That's not the only game in town, though. We've got quite a bit of storm activity across sections of the Northeast tonight. By the way, plenty of lightning strikes, almost 80 lightning strikes just within the last 15 minutes. You can see some of those on the tower cam on the other side of the screen. So quite a show ongoing tonight in New York City. The Big Apple getting soaked, portions of Long Island, including Suffolk County, also under a warning. We'll be back with another look, of course, at Laura and the severe weather in the Northeast next.
All right, I brought in Ensure Max Protein to give you the protein you need with less of the sugar you don't. I'll take that.
30 grams of protein and 1 gram of sugar. Ensure Max Protein with nutrients to support immune health.
Summer is here. So it.
Here are the rules for summer this year. Lays are preferred. Pants are optional. Backyards, bathtubs, and patios are always open. And snack time? Snack time is anytime. Recipes are better with Cheetos. Tostito salsa goes with everything. And bedtime? What's a bedtime? Yeah, summer rules. Frito-Lay, let's summer.
Little choices make a big difference, like nutritious fruit smoothies. However you healthy? Naked.
Our 12-step process provides 100% pure quality water.
Earn box tops for your school with Nestle Pure Life. Available across these fun packs.
It's grilled cheese time. Yeah, it's time for grilled cheese. After we make a grilled cheese, then we're eating grilled cheese because it's time. Yeah, time for grilled cheese.
Jumbo Snacks! Jumbo Tiger Paw Jumbo Crunch! Jumbo Fruit Loops Jumbo Flavor! Unleash never before seen Jumbo Snacks! Jumbo fun anytime! It's Jumbo! It's for snacking, it's Jumbo Snacks!
Here's Candace, who works from home and then works from home. But she can handle pickup even when her bladder makes a little drop-off. Because Candace has poise. Poise under pressure and poise in her pants. It takes poise.
It's Jake from State Farm. Sounds like a really good deal.
Jake from State Farm at 3 in the morning. Who is this?
It's Jake from State Farm.
What are you wearing, Jake from State Farm?
Khakis? Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Valspar Signature holds up to common stains and cleans up easy. Discover what's possible at Lowe's.
Imagine diving into the biggest closet in the world, packed with your favorite brands and styles at unbelievable prices. Welcome to ThredUp, the world's largest online thrift store. With over 50,000 new items every day at unbeatable prices. Madewell from $9, Anthropologie from $13, Coach from $25, Nike from $6. From these racks right to your door. Check out the app and see for yourself. Enter code NEW for up to an extra 50% off your first order at thredup.com.
For every staircase supporting a grand entrance, door frames marking milestones, and floors kissed by bare feet, protect the pure joy of home with Terminix. We're committed to keeping termites out of your home with our all-new On Guard termite protection system, always backed by the Terminix promise to keep your home strong enough for all the love it holds. Call 1-800-TERMINIX today.
This is epic!
You're watching America's most trusted TV news network.
We've got a severe weather threat. We are live on the ground.
Right now, it's coming down.
The Weather Channel.
Hurricane season doesn't stop for a pandemic, and neither do we.
Be ready for impacts well beyond the center of the hurricane.
Don't let COVID-19 take your eye off the tropics. This year's threat is more complex and dangerous than ever before.
Remain vigilant, pay close attention to the Weather Channel.
No one can cover this historic hurricane season better than the Weather Channel. Get the information you need to stay safe every day. Storm safety in a pandemic, all season long, right here on the Weather Channel.
All right, welcome back as we cover what is left of Tropical Storm Laura out there. It's a minimal tropical storm. The latest advisory has the winds at 40 miles per hour sitting in central Arkansas right now, just south of Little Rock. But a lot of thunderstorms here around the outer edges with the exterior bands here, and those producing some tornadoes. Lee, St. Francis, and Tunica counties are under tornado warnings right now, right along the Mississippi and then going into northeastern Arkansas tonight. These little bands are getting small little spin-ups. They're happening very quickly. They're moving very quickly, so you're going to have very little time to get to shelter, so I'd keep a close eye on the radar and be prepared to get to your safe spot as quickly as you can. North Hughes happening for us now in Blackfish about 15 minutes from now. Follow that line then up towards, say, Newport, Arkansas. Cross and Poinsett counties are under tornado warnings as well. I'd be concerned, but anywhere between Pumpkin Bend and Fisher, we can have problems tonight. There's the could be hitting us here in a place like Pittinger shortly, about, well, now really, and then Fisher around 7:27. So quickly get to your safe place tonight. All right, then we take you over toward the Newport area along Highway 67. Independence, Jackson, and Woodruff counties are all under tornado warnings here as well. Again, we take out the precipitation. We show you just the winds that are within them. There's a little couplet back in here, but there are little spins just about everywhere you look within these lines, and this is why so many tornado warnings have been issued for us tonight. Let's follow this most impressive one, headed toward Auvergne here, head toward Newport as well. Newport around 7:30, it could be on your doorstep here. All right, so that's what's going on associated with Laura. I want to take you over into the northeast because we've got a pretty good line of storms here as well in eastern Pennsylvania, in northern New Jersey, and in the New York City metro area as well. Right down into Long Island we go. You're getting hit out here in Queens. So Nassau, Queens, and Suffolk County are all under a severe thunderstorm warning. Hempstead right in the middle of that as you head out on Long Island Expressway here. Babylon, Hempstead, and North Hempstead heads up for high winds mostly associated with this. Maybe even some brief hail could come down, but it's primarily a wind gust event for you. Winds could be over 60 miles an hour. Over here in Suffolk County, we've got Brentwood, Huntington, and Smithtown under a severe thunderstorm warning as well. Islip, we're about to get hit with some pretty strong storms. Tons of lightning, 63 cloud-to-ground lightning strikes within the last 15 minutes from Jersey over into Hempstead here. So just be ready for these storms to hit you tonight. So Newark and New York, you're in that line right there. But for most of us that are east of Manhattan over into Long Island, these storms are packing a serious punch for us this evening. All right, I think we've covered it all for you, folks. A lot going on tonight in numerous areas. So I want you to give you the heads up and know that there are going to be issues as we go through the remainder of the night here. One more time, Nassau, Queens, and Suffolk County are under that severe thunderstorm warning. If you take a look, by the way, in New York, we have the storms that are right in Manhattan, although not severe thunderstorm warning. The track, by the way, of Laura, guess what, heads into the northeast. We could see some wraparound storms in the places that are getting hit right now, but it's going to be moving quickly. Friday evening here, Saturday evening here, Sunday morning here. By Sunday evening, it's in the Canadian Maritime, so it's picking up speed here, and that is a good sign. Chris Warren is in Little Rock for us tonight, where the storm's still moving relatively slow. What that's meant, Chris, is some flash flooding because the rain bands are hitting the same places over and over. We think the flash flood risk goes down over the course of time and into the weekend.
Yeah, which is certainly, and of course, good news for everybody who has weekend plans. In fact, we had some of the worst weather coming in kind of mid-afternoon, late afternoon into the early evening. I just spoke with a couple of pilots who said that around 3 o'clock they just snuck it in. The winds were picking up. It was a bumpy approach, and it was a time where, if they waited just a little bit longer, they might have had to find a different airport, is what they told me, because it was just kind of going downhill that quickly. And here in Little Rock right now, as we look over across the river, the Arkansas River, where right now it appears it's flowing in that direction from right to left, which isn't actually the case. That's the wind pushing the water in the opposite direction, and the water is still flowing in the other location, in the other direction, I should say. But things are pretty quiet right now, not completely done just yet. Want to go to Chris Bruin right now, who's standing by about 300 miles to the south of where we are here in Little Rock in Lake Charles. Hey, Chris.
Hey, Chris. Quiet night, but look at this. This is on-the-ground perspective, almost looking up at the Capital One Tower. This tower is getting a lot of publicity right now just because of the sheer amount of devastation. Look at that. I mean, try and count how many windows. I mean, there's got to be at least 100 that have just been blown out. This building, I mean, almost a total loss. But look at the sunset here through the concierge level, the lobby offices. All of those windows, by the way, completely shattered and blown out by the extreme winds here of hurricane. Actually helped us out in the big scheme of things. While the wind damage was extreme and in some cases catastrophic, the surge was minimum. And we'll talk about why that was coming up.
Through our love promise, Subaru and our retailers are proud to be replanting 500,000 trees in areas devastated by wildfires. Subaru, more than a car company.
Our 12-step process provides 100% pure quality water.
Earn box tops for your school with Nestle Pure Life. Available across these fun packs.
Hey, come on down to our Appliance Superstore. We have the best deals on refrigerators, microwaves, gas ranges, and grills. And if you're looking for
When you eat Reese's for dessert, is it over too fast? Well, then chill your Reese's. You'll eat it slower. I wouldn't know. I swallow mine whole. Like a duck. Not sorry, Reese's.
Jumbo Smash! Jumbo Tiger Paw Jumbo Crunch! Jumbo Fruit Loops Jumbo Flavor! Unleash never-before-seen Jumbo Snacks! Jumbo fun anytime! It's Jumbo! It's for snacking! It's Jumbo Snacks!
Little choices make a big difference. Like delicious fruits and veggies. However you healthy. Naked.
A lung cancer diagnosis can leave you holding your breath. But Bristol-Myers Squibb is working to change things by researching new kinds of medicines that could help you live longer, including options that are chemo-free. Because we're committed to bringing new hope into lung cancer care. Learn about our lung cancer research at lungcancerresearch.com.
And Doug.
You know, Limu, after all these years, it's the ones that got away that haunt me the most. Because you're not like everybody else. That's why Liberty Mutual customizes your car insurance. So you only pay for what you need.
What?
Oh, I said.
Oh, this is my floor.
Only pay for what you need.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
John Tyson's motto was, "When better chickens are hatched, we will hatch them." It's why all of the Tyson chicken that bears his name is raised with no antibiotics ever. Every nugget, strip, and drumstick. Keep it real. Keep it Tyson.
How do you think they make Starburst taste so juicy?
Starburst? Juice-Stratic equation. Super top secret mathematical formula they keep stored inside a safe, inside a vault, inside a volcano.
Oh, Juice-Stratix.
Starburst, unexplainably juicy.
It takes a relentless attention to detail, a passion to protect people from the elements. But most of all, it takes a commitment to comfort in any conditions. At the Weather Channel, our gear means everything. And whatever the weather, you'll find us there, proudly wearing Land's End. Because Land's End stands for quality in everything they make, so we know they can stand behind us. The official outfitter of the Weather Channel is Land's End. Let's get comfy everywhere.
The coastal plain of Louisiana, where the land kind of goes into the Gulf, Cameron Parish, Lower Vermilion, they are going to be terribly affected. And there was that's a lot of cattle down there. Folks did their best to round up those cattle, but I can promise you that they were all not taken to higher ground. And so there will be loss of livestock in that region and loss of property. There's a lot of industrial development. Liquefied natural gas goes around the world. So construction out of Cameron Parish and Calcasieu Channel. So those construction sites were shut down. The question is what damage was done to them afterwards. They're built for hurricanes. You still want to do the inspection. Lastly, I'll finish up with the chlorine fire. I think it's BioLake. So clearly that continues to be a problem.
Now, Senator Bill Galloway talking to us a little bit earlier in the show about, some of the areas that were harder hit from Hurricane Laura. Made landfall last night, Mike, as a Category 4 hurricane. Still a tropical storm, still bringing plenty of rain and some wind.
And he said that, they're trying, with it to restore the marshland there. Senator Cassidy knows that it's a big issue, and they've got to do what they can to protect, everything that is then upstream from those marshes in cities like Lake Charles and Baton Rouge and New Orleans. With Alex Wilson, I'm Mike Bettis, and we're still covering for you tonight. Tropical Storm Laura here. It's a minimal tropical storm. Winds are at 40 miles per hour, but it has done some very significant damage. When it came ashore as a Category 4 with 150 mile per hour winds, this is what it did. And you can see there's just stuff everywhere now. Some homes up on stilts did okay. Some lost some roofs. You see the barge there that is listing now to the right. And when you get intense winds that are as high as 150 miles an hour and some onshore flow and some storm surge, this is the issue. Look at some of these homes. There'll be a complete loss. Others repairable. It's just going to depend on exactly how well built those structures were. Well, let's update you on what we know right now. We're learning at least 2 more people, unfortunately, have died in Louisiana, bringing the death toll to 29 across the Caribbean and the United States. One of the Louisiana victims, unfortunately, passing due to carbon monoxide poisoning. A generator was inside his home. LSU says classes will resume at its Baton Rouge campus tomorrow. And as Laura treks its way north, the governor of Arkansas preemptively declaring a state of emergency for that state. Now, the center of circulation is actually very close to Little Rock right now, just south. 35 miles south with the newest advisory, but it is moving closer and closer. We have a pretty intense line of storms wrapping around the north side and the northeast side. Excuse me. It has been producing all evening long tornado warnings across in Poinsett counties. Right in here is under a tornado warning. Storm headed toward Fisher tonight. It's going to be right in there. It looks like the circulation is bowing out a little bit more. That's a good thing. It appears that the circulation isn't tight anymore. It may be a very strong wind gust that comes into Fisher, but doesn't necessarily appear to be a tornado anymore. We have numerous tornado warnings in effect here. Then we'll time that one out for you, though. Again, around 7:36, around Tuckerman, getting around 7:56 for you tonight. So do all the things you would normally do for a tornado warning. Lowest level of your home in an interior room, away from windows and exterior walls. We've got another tornado warning here that's coming potentially past 67 over in Independence, Jackson, and Woodruff counties. Our warning until 8 o'clock this evening. Again, all these, what you'll notice in all these, see the red that's in there? You get these little kinks, and within those kinks, next thing you know, you have rotation. Next thing you know, you get a little spin up that happens for us here. In Diaz and Grubbs and Newport, your warning until 8 o'clock tonight. Alex?
All right, well, meteorologist Chris Warren has been in Little Rock, Arkansas this afternoon and into the evening. And Chris, at times, that rain was coming down fast and furious.
Yeah, it absolutely was, Alex. And down probably wasn't going to be a big issue because that heavy rain lasting for a big part of the afternoon into the early evening hours. And some flash flood warnings have been posted. I did see some reports of some trees down. But this is really, because it's a fast-moving storm, I'm hoping that, things are doing okay, and people, were okay, didn't go out and get caught in the flash flooding, because it certainly could have been a lot worse. That being said, it's not done here in Arkansas. What we're seeing right now is the storm still working its way to the north. Where I am right now in Little Rock, it is not necessarily, again, it could have been worse here. It's improving right now here, but we're going to watch this storm move to the north, and then it's going to continue to shift to the east, and it's going to go through Jonesboro. It's going to make the turn somewhere in there, and Memphis, and then it's going to be heading off into the mid-Atlantic, where it could also pack a bit of a punch. And that's something, of course, here on the Weather Channel we'll keep tracking as we continue to cover this story from the coast of the Gulf Coast all the way to the mid-Atlantic.
This summer, we've all got miles to make up. Miles to the job site, to the campsite, and anything else we set our sights on. Miles back to those who can make this summer mean more than ever. We can help you get the most out of those miles during the Ram Labor Day sales event.
Right now, get $7,300 in total values on the 2020 Ram 1500. Shop and buy online at ram.com.
Our 12-step process provides 100% pure quality water.
Earn box tops for your school with Nestle Pure Life. Available across these fun packs.
I may not be able to tell time, but I know what time it is. It's grilled cheese o'clock.
Okay, and slowly.
Okay.
Break!
Oh. Should we leave a note?
No.
Did I pass? Break me off a piece of that Kit Kat bar.
How do you make a Pinot Noir taste like no other? Start with grapes from 3 California regions. Push flavor in new directions. And put a bear on the label. Made like no other for a taste like no other. Meiomi. Flavor forward.
Jumbo Snacks! Jumbo Tiger Paw Jumbo Crunch! Jumbo Fruit Loops Jumbo Flavor! Unleash never before seen Jumbo Snacks! Jumbo fun anytime! It's Jumbo! It's for snacking! It's Jumbo Snacks!
Here's Candace, who works from home and then works from home. But she can handle pickup even when her bladder makes a little drop-off. Because Candace has poise. Poise under pressure and poise in her pants. It takes poise.
How do you think they make Starburst taste so juicy?
Starburst? Juice-Dradic equation. Super top secret mathematical formula they keep stored inside a safe, inside a vault, inside a volcano.
Oh, Juice-Dradics.
Starburst, unexplainably juicy.
Now you can make any morning of the week feel like the weekend with Jimmy Dean Simple Scrambles, made fresh with 2 real eggs, sausage, and cheese, and ready in seconds.
Why don't you put a Sunday morning shine on tomorrow morning's breakfast?
Did you know that some aluminum-free deodorants only mask odor? Secret Aluminum-Free helps eliminate odor instead of just masking it, and is made with 3 times more odor fighters. With Secret, odor is one less thing to worry about. Secret.
I didn't order a pizza.
I know. But that Parker promo saved me so much on my insurance. I brought you a little something special.
Parker, State Farm offers everyone surprisingly great rates.
You're the man.
When you want the real deal, like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
We are watching strong and severe storms move through the Northeast tonight. You're looking at New York City. Not long ago, we were watching quite the lightning show over the Big Apple. Things have quieted down as those storms have continued to push off towards the south and east, but a little faint, distant lightning there in the tower cam. Temperatures have cooled down, too, in the low 70s right now. We had a hot, humid afternoon across a lot of the Northeast, and that allowed things to really warm up, become unstable, and those storms have been firing all across the year. You can see the warnings lining eastern PA into western PA, parts of West Virginia and Maryland as well. Here's our warning that was over the Big Apple. Those storms, again, pushing off towards the south, but Nassau, Queens, and Suffolk counties still remain under the warning. Newark Airport reporting a gust of 71 miles an hour. So strong winds have been accompanying these storms. Now, here in Mercer, Middlesex, Somerset counties, we've got a warning. That includes the Trenton area, watching parts of the Lehigh Valley down towards the greater Philadelphia area as well. Berks, Bucks, Montgomery counties here under this warning. Watch for some small hail as well as some gusty, damaging winds. I want to get back out to Chris Bruin. He is in Lake Charles, Louisiana this evening. Chris, I know, after the storm, the sun comes back out and we're able to finally get a chance to see what's happened, and quite a bit of damage, although I think a lot of people are saying they're glad with what they saw, knowing it could have been much worse.
Yeah, we didn't have the surge, and that is huge, guys. That's huge. We had the wind. Boy, did we have the wind, but we didn't have the surge that it could have happened. Remember, Alex, when we were talking about sunset last night? Well, this is the post-Laura sunset, and take a look at it as it goes over the oil refineries there, over the Calcasieu River Bridge. That's Interstate 10. Much calmer night tonight, but look at the landscape here. Look at the scenes that have gone on. This is the Capital One Tower. We're trying to get you up close and personal to the sheer amount of destruction. You know how large each one of those glass panels are? I mean, that's the size of an office, okay? They're huge, over probably 8 feet long, each one. and many of those shattered out. In fact, the south-facing side of the building has the most damage, with the majority of windows blown out. Of course, then getting into the insulation, all of the office supplies, Sharpie pens, papers, you name it. Come over here, though. Look over the parking garage railing and take a look here. Look at the oak tree, and then look at that. Smushed in between is a dumpster and a porta potty. The wind did that, guys, and you've got siding and just trash, debris, power lines, everything filling up the streets. You got a whole bunch of semis kind of lined up. We've had National Guard, we've had Team Rubicon, of course, the Red Cross, everybody in play helping out and getting stationed here in Lake Charles. It's been a team effort. Boy, Lake Charles is prepared, and they were. There's the lake, okay? There's Lake Charles. What we didn't have was that 15-foot storm surge, and if we did, that water would have came all the way past the parking garage. This would have been all covered in water. That wasn't the case. So while most homes had some sort of wind damage, especially shingle damage and a lot of tree damage, we're going to be able to rebuild for the most part. So there are some homes, though, complete loss. And again, remember, too, this is just Lake Charles. We haven't even really gotten a full scope of the damage in communities like Cameron and getting into some of those more rural areas and south central and southwestern Louisiana and the coastal areas, to the parishes to my south, getting into Cameron Parish and areas around Holly Beach. We know that the surge was so much worse there. Of course, right on the coastline, you're going to have much higher surge than what we had in Lake Charles. So don't just take what you're looking at in one location and assume that's what it looks like in other areas. So that's something to be mindful too. But as far as Lake Charles, guys, I think residents can kind of breathe a sigh of relief. We made it through. I mean, I'm amazed we made it through a Category 4 of this intensity, and there's still trees standing and homes intact.
Yeah, it is amazing. You mentioned the building codes have clearly helped, I think, some of these storms or these buildings and structures survive the storms. Now, the power not as lucky. That was the moment the power went out in Lafayette, Louisiana. The intensity of the storm bringing those strong winds well inland, and so the crews have been rolling in today. They have been arriving to help restore that power. But a lot of people we have heard from have said, be prepared to wait a couple days, maybe even up to a week, because in some areas you kind of got to start from scratch because we have so much damage to the power grid. Lake Charles area, no surprise, we've got a lot of outages there, portions of eastern Texas, even getting up towards Shreveport, northern parts of Louisiana. We had very strong wind gusts well up to the north, so no surprise that we're seeing those problems throughout the state of Louisiana. Calcasieu Parish leading the pack, Mike. That's unfortunately where most of the outages are this evening. Over 565,000 customers without power tonight.
One thing these really strong hurricanes have taught us is the power outages can be extensive and well inland. All right, let's give you the big picture of what's happening with Laura right now. It is a 40-mile-per-hour tropical storm. It's centered south of Little Rock currently. Strong storm bands going through Arkansas right now. And we've had numerous tornado warnings today, including right now Cross and Poinsett counties that are under a tornado warning. And we can show you that there are some bands that are coming through there that are producing quick little spin-ups here. And some of these tornado spin-ups have produced some damage today in Arkansas. So don't think that these are just, little piddly things that aren't doing anything. They are doing some damage. And we still have a risk that goes through tomorrow. Memphis over into Middle Tennessee, including Nashville, Tupelo, and Huntsville. Wouldn't even rule out a chance for some severe weather around Paducah, Kentucky. We think that the center of circulation might actually go, when's the last time we just said that? The center of circulation could go over Paducah, Kentucky. Think about that. Most of the heaviest rain will be on the south side, we believe, of that, but it'll be Paducah and then south. Then watch the storms really spread out going into Friday night and even some other synoptic scale storms across the Great Lakes. But that's the area through Saturday morning. We'd be most concerned about some flooding to occur. And then the storm moving very quickly then, gaining some steam here and pushing its way off the mid-Atlantic coast here. But Charlotte up toward New York could be a corridor of severe weather. Some of that induced by the tropical storm, some of it not. But into Saturday we go. There's where the low is sitting. And it may actually intensify when it comes off into the Atlantic there and go up into the Canadian Maritimes. Most likely, though, kind of a post-tropical hybrid type of system. It's down through the Appalachians. We'll watch for weekend flooding. We're back with more on LAR when we come back.
Hey, I didn't order any pizza.
Jake from State Farm. After you saved me so much dough on insurance with that Parker promo, I devised a promo for you.
Here's the deal, Parker. State Farm offers everyone surprisingly great rates.
Yeah, right. Pepperoni pockets, an atomic brownie, cuckoo crusty.
There's no promo, it's just great rates.
And a cider ranch. You're the man.
When you want the real deal, like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Make the summer yours with a twist of flavor. Discover the Mediterranean flavors and gentle bubbles of San Pellegrino Essenza. Add a twist of flavor.
It's grilled cheese time, yeah, it's time for grilled cheese. After we make a grilled cheese, then we're eating grilled cheese because it's time, yeah, time for grilled cheese.
It's so good to see you guys. Han, out here.
Are we on yet? I thought we were doing a Zoom thing.
Confused?
No.
Maybe you just need a Snickers.
Can't wait to tell everyone about AT&T's big 5G news.
AT&T has nationwide 5G?
Yep.
And that's faster?
Faster, yeah.
But is it reliable?
Uh-huh, and secure.
You should consider making a big deal about it.
Bigger?
I said bigger.
Oh, bigger deal, bigger than what I'm doing.
It's not complicated. A 5G network needs a 5G device. Now everyone, including existing customers, can get a free Samsung Galaxy Note 20 after trade-in.
Now you can make any morning of the week feel like the weekend with Jimmy Dean Simple Scrambles, made fresh with 2 real eggs, sausage, and cheese, and ready in seconds.
Why don't you put a Sunday morning shine on tomorrow morning's breakfast?
ThredUp presents The Cure for the Common Closet.
I know that sigh. You're suffering from common closet.
Not common closet.
But fear not, I have the cure. It's called ThredUp.com. It's the world's largest online thrift store with all of your favorite brands at incredible prices. Check out this J. Crew dress, $14. Boho weekend look, $25. You can pick your favorite colors, styles, brands, and voila!
Enter code NEW for up to an extra 50% off your first order at ThredUp.com.
Being a patient with diabetes myself, I can say without question that the Dexcom system is the most powerful tool to help navigate diabetes better on a daily basis.
I love it. I just wear a little sensor and that's it. It's totally painless and private.
The Dexcom sends my glucose readings to my receiver every 5 minutes. I just pull it out of my pocket and look, and I don't have to prick my finger.
Dexcom puts you in control, not your diabetes.
This is epic!
You're watching America's most trusted TV news network.
We've got a severe weather threat.
We are live on the ground. Right now, it's coming down.
The Weather Channel.
Welcome back in. Robert Ray has a bird's eye view of the destruction of some of the neighborhoods in Lake Charles, Louisiana. Take a look.
For Southwest Louisiana, Category 4 Hurricane Laura was a nightmare. Daybreak Thursday revealed splintered neighborhoods, entire roofs ripped from hotels, and homeowners working to clear debris.
Once hit by maybe 1:30, 2 o'clock, we started hearing all kind of banging, and trees falling. The roof was coming off, the water was coming in the house.
In Lake Charles, Greg Baku is doing his best to remove trees after a destructive night.
This probably be it. It was almost a number 5, and everything was making noise, and the house was shaking, and I didn't think we were gonna survive it. I figured the roof was gonna go off.
Pacu subdivision looks like this. Several homes are completely exposed, wind ripping rooftops away. Others have power lines and trees that tore apart when the eye wall came through, thrown into structures that families worked so hard to build. Now, the powerful destruction from Hurricane Laura can be seen pretty much all over Lake Charles, but look at this. This is one home with its sidewalk buckled, and you walk up a little closer and you start to see the power of the winds, those Category 4 winds that came in here and just destroyed some of the areas. I want to show you this tree right here. Look at how this probably 70, 80 foot pine tree was just bent at the bottom. I mean, not even cracked, bent. Look at this, bent and pierced right into the roof of that home. So the destruction in some of these neighborhoods is simply remarkable. Many people evacuated and came back to bad news.
Yeah, we had some hail damage in April, I think, and we were still trying to get our roof fixed from that. It hasn't happened yet, so people are still trying to get their claims wrapped up from that. So we're back again.
The past 6 months have already been trying with the pandemic. Now, without power, or in some cases water, life just got even harder.
And I know we're just one of probably thousands of people here that have lost everything, and my heart goes out to each and every one of them. You know, I'm 74. It doesn't matter what I live in, but for my family, I want them to live in what they lived in. They worked hard for it, and nobody deserved this, but people get it every year.
Hard work that will now have to begin again. Robert Ray, The Weather Channel.
And we are still, believe it or not, contending with Laura tonight. It is a tropical storm. It's a minimal tropical storm, 40-mile-per-hour winds right now, certainly lower than the 150 it made landfall with. But we're still dealing with some really heavy rain. We've had persistent rain in western Arkansas. I think one of the issues that we're dealing with now is that we're starting to get a bit of a pivot now with the tropical storm. So it's surging kind of northbound, and now it's going to start to turn and go to the east. And so that's why we've been stuck in this pattern here in western Arkansas with a persistent flash flood warning there, but numerous flash flood warnings through central Arkansas as the center sits just south of Little Rock, and really heavy duty thunderstorms in there producing rainfall rates exceeding an inch an hour, in some instances even 2 inches an hour. Jackson, White, and Woodruff counties are all under flash flood warnings tonight. Those go until 10:20 this evening. If you're in McCrory, if you're in Bradford or Augusta, these are all areas we'd urge you to stay home tonight. No need to drive out and get yourself in any trouble in these warnings. Lonoke, Pulaski, and White counties are under a flash flood warning. This is going to be just north of Little Rock, but this is an area where the rain has let up for us some. Our warning until 9:20, but Little Rock, the heavy stuff came through about 3 hours ago or so, but still potentially some lingering effects. Your warning only goes for better, so be careful this evening. But I think conditions are improving as all the heavy stuff has now gone to your north. Unfortunately, it's a problem for other locations. You take a look at the other risk that we're dealing with tonight. It's been almost nonstop, consistent tornado warnings for us throughout the afternoon and evening. Our tornado watch from Jonesboro, Memphis, down 55 and almost touching Jackson, Mississippi tonight. There's a tornado watch until 9 o'clock. The conditions are favorable, especially with some of the outer bands that come in. I would say especially the northern section of this tornado watch is particularly susceptible to the tornadoes tonight. They'll be brief, they'll be quick. You may never hear them coming. It's away from windows and away from exterior walls. Now, as far as the flooding goes, there's still that risk that heavy rain will come our way. I'm particularly concerned around Memphis. I think another 4 to 6 inches of rain could head our way. Paducah, the center circulation could come over us, and we think heavy rain is forecast there. But really any of this area through the Tennessee Valley where you've got the dark green on the map, those are the areas we'd be concerned about flooding through the day tomorrow, Alex.
All right, Mike, thanks so much. Our coverage continues as we will monitor the very latest on Tropical Storm Laura, the flooding threat, as well as the threat of severe weather. Meteorologist Jackie Jarris and our hurricane expert, Dr. Rick Knabb, are back, as well as reports from Chris Bruin. Of course, he is there in Lake Charles giving us a look at what is happening. We'll have much more tomorrow on Weather Underground for you, too. Have a great night.
choices make a big difference, like nutritious fruit smoothies. However you healthy? Naked.
Okay, everyone. Our mission is to provide complete balanced nutrition for strength and energy.
Great tasting Ensure with 9 grams of protein, 27 vitamins and minerals, and nutrients to support immune health.
Make the summer yours with a twist of flavor. Discover the Mediterranean flavors and gentle bubbles of San Pellegrino Essenza. Add a twist of flavor.
Hey, come on down to our Fly Superstore. We have the best deals on refrigerators, microwaves, gas ranges, and grills. And if you're looking for
It's so good to see you guys. Han, out here.
Are we on yet? I thought we were doing a Zoom thing.
Confused?
No.
Maybe you just need a Snickers.
Here's Candace, who works from home and then works from home. But she can handle pickup even when her bladder makes a little drop off. Because Candace has poise. Poise under pressure and poise in her pants. It takes poise.
Don't forget your lunch. I'm making pizza on King's Hawaiian mini subs.
King's Hawaiian. What an irresistibly delicious idea.
Super Emma just about sleeps in her cave, but when we realized she was battling sensitive skin, we switched to new Tide Plus Downy Free. It's gentle on her skin and dermatologist recommended. New Tide Pods Plus Downy Free. Safe for sensitive skin with eczema and psoriasis.
It's Jake from State Farm. Sounds like a really good deal.
Jake from State Farm at 3 in the morning. Who is this?
It's Jake from State Farm.
What are you wearing, Jake from State Farm?
Khakis? Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Rent the right tools for a new project. Snap a picture to start shopping and shop the store without wandering the aisles. You won't find a toolbox like this anywhere else. Tackle more fall projects with the Home Depot. How doers get more done.
There's a bunch of whole almonds in every bar of Hershey's milk chocolate with almonds. Don't believe us? See back for details.
Tracking Laura on the Weather Channel, this storm still has some kick. Strong winds still possible. Flash flooding, can't rule out tornadoes. I'm meteorologist Chris Warren here in Little Rock, Arkansas, more than 300 miles north of Lake Charles, Louisiana.
Widespread damage all across the Lake Charles community here, unfortunately. A day after landfall now, and people are still kind of getting their bearings straight. Coming up, we're going to take you to that building and get an up-close and person look at the destructive winds that we have seen in the last 24 hours. Some cases topping over 130 miles per hour here at the heart of Laura as it rolled ashore in Louisiana overnight last night. We'll continue to have the latest coverage and touring of southwestern Louisiana coming up.
And good evening, everyone. I'm hurricane expert Dr. Rick Knabb, tracking where Tropical Storm Laura still is right now, where we're seeing rain and wind in parts of Arkansas headed into Tennessee. This storm will stick around into the weekend, bringing nasty weather all the way into the Northeast. I'll have that just ahead. But right now, meteorologist Jackie Jarris has a look at some of the incredible damage left behind when Laura was a major hurricane.
Yeah, just incredible, Dr. Knabb. You know, it hasn't even been 24 hours yet since landfall, and we're continuing to get images in that are really just jaw-dropping. This is in Cameron, Louisiana. We had 150-mile-per-hour winds with Laura, causing extreme damage in the small community. Once again, Hurricanes Rita in 2005 and Ike in 2008 also destroyed most of the town. Listen to what it was like to ride out that storm.
Thought it was gonna be a 3, and then by the time we figured out maybe we should leave, it was way too late for us to leave. We couldn't go anywhere.
fire broke out at a chemical plant this morning after Laura ripped through the Lake Charles area. Governor John Bel Edwards warned residents to shelter in place and to close their windows. The company that owns the plant said the facility had been evacuated and all employees were safe. So, you think of risks and hazards with hurricanes, and a lot of people think of that wind damage. They think of that surge damage, Dr. Knabb, and you expect to lose power, but you don't always think about things like gas leaks or water leaks.
Yeah, and fires, all kinds of things go wrong when we have hurricanes and tropical storms. So Laura is still a tropical storm centered not far south of Little Rock, Arkansas. Its max winds in the general sense are at 40 miles an hour, and we still have a tropical storm warning in effect for portions of central Arkansas. It'll probably become a depression before too much longer tonight. So the system's headed eastward, and it will bring a lot of hazards, flash flooding, risk of severe weather, some strong winds, and it will be a non-tropical system when it leaves the mid-Atlantic coast. So it will not be a tropical storm much longer, but it will be bringing a lot of hazards. Flash flood watches in effect for Arkansas and up into Paducah and western Tennessee, northern Mississippi. But you know what also happens with landfalling hurricanes and tropical storms? We have that right front quadrant that is a persistent area of outer bands that can be really nasty and can produce severe weather. So let's look at the northeastern quadrant, not far from Jonesboro, Arkansas, just west of there. Communities like Cache and Egypt are under a tornado warning until 8:45 local time. There's a radar indicated tornado in here. These are little kinks in that outer band, and it's moving north at about 40 miles an hour. So you've got to take cover, lowest level, most interior room, and then just southeast of there. Again, now here's Jonesboro up in here, so I would definitely be heads up in Jonesboro because this band is going to sling in your direction here. But in Cross and Poinsett counties, communities like Coldwater, Harrisburg, Parkin, this kink in the band has a tornado warning in effect till 8:30 local time. Now I'm going to bow out here just a second here because I noticed there's another new tornado warning in effect, and I'm going to go down into Mississippi here. Look at that. There's in Batesville, Mississippi, and Como along I-55, a very narrow but potent band, another tornado warning in effect till 8:30 local time. This is in Batesville and Sardis, portions of Lafayette and Panola and Tate counties. So I-55 south of Memphis into Mississippi. So it's a far-flung outer band, but that is typically where these tornadoes occur. So there is Little Rock here where you're still gusting over 20 miles an hour, earlier over 30, near 40, and it's this band that extends into Mississippi that's causing the severe weather. But look at Greenville, Mississippi, gusted near 50 miles an hour not that long ago, and the center of the storm is in here, so we're gusting above 30 at Pine Bluff. So one of the big problems here, even without a tornado warning, is that when these bands come through, the winds pick up and the rains pick up, you can really get strong gusts of wind that can bring down trees. And we've had a number of those occurrences in many parts of Arkansas today. Now those strong winds getting all the way up into Batesville, gusting to 43 miles per hour up there. Memphis is gusting to 33, and that band that has the strong winds and the severe weather associated with it is about to move through metropolitan Memphis. And then look at all the rain we've had. Half a foot of rain in some places, including in metropolitan Little Rock. We have flash flood warnings all over the place, including in the Little Rock metro area for another half hour or so. But then north of there, that band that's producing the wind and severe weather is producing very heavy rainfall rates. Flash flood warning in Conway and Searcy, Arkansas, till 9:20 local time. So these are stay off the road warnings. It's a really good night in Arkansas and headed into Tennessee to stay off the roads. Now, we have the Weather Channel's Chris Warren tonight in Little Rock. Look at the conditions there. Looks like, Chris, the heaviest rain has moved off to your north, but I suspect there's still some problems on the roads.
Yeah, absolutely. And Dr. Knabb, before you go, I have a quick question for you as well. While we are looking still at the possibility for flash flooding, still could see some strong winds and, again, as you've been talking about, that tornado threat. We know that tropical systems, hurricanes and tropical storms, don't just magically disappear and, go poof once they come on shore. But this tropical storm warnings all the way up here, Dr. Nab, into Little Rock. And I've heard that this is like the first time that the National Weather Service here in Little Rock has issued tropical storm warnings here, more than 350 miles away from the Gulf of Mexico. As the former director of the National Hurricane Center, what stands out to you with this particular storm in relationship to what we're seeing now and what we could still see in the coming hours and days?
Well, it is behaving like a lot of other Gulf of Mexico major hurricane landfalls, and that is staying a hurricane for quite a while inland and then certainly staying a tropical storm for a long time. And what is really in my mind tonight, as what has happened so far and what could still happen, is trees coming down onto homes, and especially you're putting yourself in danger if you're out on the roads, because the tree could fall in your car, or a tree falls on the road and then you drive into the fallen tree. So we lost a lot of lives in Rita due to fallen trees into homes. We've lost several lives already in this hurricane due to fallen trees. So Chris, that continues to be my main concern. And at night, with the wind still strong and the road still slick, I hope people are staying inside.
And Dr. Nab, another thing is the fact that, like, the worst of the weather we saw last night was really close to the center. What I'm seeing today, a lot of the reports I'm seeing, is a much bigger area. What do you make of that, and how possibly that may affect how people perceive a system that's moving inland?
Yeah, well, generally speaking, whatever it is the cause, when a tropical system weakens, the pressure comes up slowly, but the winds come down. And as it weakens, the wind field spreads out. The pressure doesn't come back up really, really quickly. The winds come down, but you still have that big pressure difference, and that gets spread out over a large area. So weakening is usually associated with expansion of the wind field and expansion of the weather. And I would say tomorrow, even as a tropical depression, it's going to start interacting with mid-latitude weather influences and be a sprawling system that's going to kick off afternoon thunderstorms and severe weather in the Tennessee and Ohio valleys on Friday.
Okay, so let's talk about tomorrow really quickly then. What's the slam dunk? What do you feel most confident about on the worst side of things? So, like, who do you think is going to have it worse that you feel good about? Not good about, obviously, but you feel most confident about. And then what do you think is the biggest wild card in this?
Well, I think that, to get to that last question first, I think the biggest wild card is where exactly does the severe weather set up? It could be over a large area. The center of the depression probably goes over Kentucky, but you could have its tentacles spread into Mississippi and Alabama and Tennessee. So it's like, many other severe weather episodes, is a lot of people are at risk. Look at all those people, in the Torcana 3, but who actually gets it? That's the wild card. So we all have to, in these orange and red areas, take precautions and have our safe place to go, and maybe stay off the roads tomorrow, because the winds will be pretty strong anyway. But the wild card is who gets the tornado, who gets the strongest winds, where does the tree come down?
And is there anything that you can say, like, for certain that you go, this area is definitely going to get this?
Well, some locally heavy rainfall is definitely going to be moving across places like Kentucky and Tennessee. Now it's not going to be as heavy as what we've seen over Louisiana and Arkansas, but that axis going across Tennessee and Kentucky and then into the Appalachian Mountains, that's a guaranteed. We're going to get rainfall, but again, back to what wild cards exist, where does flash flooding set up? It's going to be a rainy, unsettled day in Kentucky and Tennessee tomorrow, but it's all in the details about who gets a fallen tree, who gets a tornado, where does the flash flooding occur. So it's a really good day to be off the roads.
All right, hey, thank you so much, Dr. Nab. And here in Little Rock, kind of walk you through what happened today for us, and why you really kind of have to stay vigilant here, as Dr. Nab was just talking about. Ways about 50 yards that way. You could barely even see where we are right now. You can barely even see the water, which is just down there. The intensity of the rainfall. And while these areas here in the Arklatex, here in central Arkansas, here in Little Rock, in Jonesboro, and Memphis, you get big storms. You get derechos that come through. You get thunderstorms, but you don't always get the tropical moisture. And the tropical moisture can just add that little extra something that can make things flood much quicker, or perhaps, like we saw today, these east winds coming in. Think about a lot of thunderstorms, they come in from the west, you get the big strong winds coming down from the west or maybe the northwest. But Jackie, when we see this, some big time winds for a long time blowing in from the east. So there's still so many moving parts to this. You got to be vigilant.
Absolutely, and we still have a long way to go here with Laura. So as Dr. Knabb was talking about, some of these wild card things that we're going to continue to watch for include the risk of tornadoes, and we've got multiple tornado warnings that are in effect right now, and we've got a tornado risk that's going to continue into tomorrow as well. So pretty impossible to predict exactly who gets the tornado, but we do know the area where this is going to be most favorable for the rest of today and tonight. We're talking about parts of Mississippi into western parts of Tennessee and into about the northern half here of Arkansas. So we have torcons between 2 and 3. And as we head into tomorrow, especially with some of the heating of the day, we could get things to continue to fire up. Memphis, Nashville, Huntsville, Tupelo, all with a torcon of 3. If there's a number, there's a risk. The higher the number, the higher the risk. We do have tornado watches that are in effect right now, right along that I-55 corridor from Memphis on southward, across parts of Arkansas, including into the Jonesboro area. This is until 9 o'clock tonight. Don't be surprised if those watches get extended later and continue to expand. So you can really see the spin here associated with what's left of Laura and these bands, which will continue to have these little kinks in them, which can create these little spin ups. So tropical tornadoes tend to spin up very quickly. It's difficult to get a lot of advance warning on them. They can also spin down pretty quickly, but take the warning seriously tonight. Everything's wrapped in rain, so just get to your safe place when you get that warning. So we've got for points set, including the city of Harrisburg. This is a tornado warning for you. Doppler radar indicated tornado right here. It's just to the south and west of 555. We'll take you to the south of there, and there you can see near Jonesboro. This is another one that we're watching here. Almost looks like a little appendage on that one. That includes you into Cache, Egypt, and into the Weiner area. So get to your safe place until 8:45 local time. That's the lowest level of your home away from doors and windows. There we go. And there we're looking at velocity mode. So, we've got a couple of these little areas of maps moving around on me, but there you go. There you can see we've got a couple of different areas of rotation all within there, all just to the south and west of the 555 corridor. So certainly seeing that rotation, at least on radar, might be difficult to see the ground truth of all of that. And then down towards the Batesville area, along I-55 near the Como area, we have another tornado warning here into the state of Mississippi until 8:30. That includes you in Como and Sardis. So get to your safe place right now. Take your tornado precautions. And, we'll have to continue to watch that line because we've got some action to the south of there, which is leading me to believe that those two could also intensify and bring a little bit of rotation with that. So some of the areas that get hit with tornadoes, or at least warnings tonight, may see this happen over and over within these bands as they continue to cycle on through. So there you can see Lafayette, Panola, and Tate until the 8:30 time. Very near Highway 51 will be that area of concern. So let's take you out and show you the bigger picture. In addition to the tornadoes, we still have the flash flood warnings that remain in effect. And as we move forward, watch how that heaviest rain really pushes from northern parts of Arkansas into the boot heel of Missouri. This will stretch across the middle Mississippi River Valley. Showers and thunderstorms becoming widespread throughout the day for tomorrow. And look at all this banding with the tropical moisture making its way through Alabama, even into Georgia. So a lot of action can still be expected with Laura. Even though it's weakening, we still have multiple threats. Continuing coverage right after this.
Tuck, you want to walk?
Come on, Tucker, let's go.
Tuck, want to walk, boy?
Tucker, you want to go out?
When the whole family needs an excuse to get out, Nutro's Clean Recipe will help your dog keep up.
All right, I brought in Ensure Max Protein to give you the protein you need with less of the sugar you don't. I'll take that.
30 grams of protein and 1 gram of sugar. Ensure Max Protein with nutrients to support immune health.
When you have depression, it can plunge you into deep, dark lows and can leave you feeling extremely sad and disinterested. Overwhelmed by bipolar depression? Ask about Vraylar. Not all types of depression should be treated the same. Vraylar effectively helps relieve all symptoms of bipolar depression with just one pill, once a day. Elderly patients with dementia-related psychosis have an increased risk of death or stroke. Call your doctor about unusual changes in behavior or suicidal thoughts. Antidepressants can increase these in children and young adults. Report fever, stiff muscles, or confusion, which may mean a life-threatening reaction, or uncontrollable muscle movements, which may be permanent. Side effects may not appear for several weeks. Metabolic changes may occur. Nausea, restlessness, and movement dysfunction are common side effects. When bipolar depression overwhelms, ask how Vraylar can help.
Looks like they picked the wrong getaway driver.
Gonna be paying for this for a long time.
They will, but with accident forgiveness. Allstate won't raise your rates just because of an accident, even if it's your fault.
Cut! Sonny.
Is that good?
Line. The desert never lies.
Isn't that what I said?
No, you were talking about Allstate and insurance. Let's try again. Everybody back to one.
Accident forgiveness from Allstate. Click or call for a quote today.
Our 12-step process provides 100% pure quality water.
Earn box tops for your school with Nestle Pure Life. Available across these fun packs.
How do you make a Pinot Noir taste like no other? Start with grapes from 3 California regions. Push flavor in new directions. And put a bear on the label. Made like no other for a taste like no other. Meiomi. Flavor forward.
Imagine diving into the biggest closet in the world, packed with your favorite brands and styles at unbelievable prices. Welcome to ThredUp, the world's largest online thrift store. With over 50,000 new items every day at unbeatable prices. Madewell from $9. Anthropologie from $13. Coach from $25. Nike from $6. From these racks right to your door. Check out the app and see for yourself. Enter code NEW for up to an extra 50% off your first order at thredup.com.
For every staircase supporting a grand entrance, door frames marking milestones, and floors kissed by bare feet, protect the pure joy of home with Terminix. We're committed to keeping termites out of your home with our all-new On Guard termite protection system. Always backed by the Terminix promise to keep your home strong enough for all the love it holds. Call 1-800-TERMINIX today.
This is epic!
You're watching America's most trusted TV news network.
We've got a severe weather threat.
We are live on the ground. Right now, it's coming down.
The Weather Channel.
We have a lot of severe weather occurring on the northeastern side of Tropical Storm Laura that is centered over Arkansas. But in northeastern Arkansas and into northern portions of Mississippi, that's where we have active tornado warnings in that really nasty outer band. And now there's a tornado warning that has been issued for Jonesboro, Arkansas. We know what happened earlier this year. We know you're no strangers to tornadoes, so you know what to do. Get to that lowest level, most interior room. Gilkerson, Jonesboro, Nettleton, all under this tornado warning until 9 p.m. local time. This is part of a very elongated, nasty outer band, and that's the reflectivity. So you can see how it's got that waviness to it. But when you look at the velocities, you can see those little swirls that are embedded within there. Please do not go outside, especially at night, and they're going to be rain wrapped. Don't go outside to confirm the tornado. Trust the warning warning, trust the radar that we're showing you, and get to that lowest level, most interior room. So again, a tornado warning in effect for Jonesboro, Arkansas until 9 p.m. local time. We have warnings just west and south of there and still in northern Mississippi. Now, we have been seeing the damage photos come in over the last 24 hours, and we have the benefit of having our Dave Malkoff having done an overflight. He's on the phone with us. Dave, I'll just let you have the floor and tell us what you saw and how bad the storm surge and wind damage was down near the coast.
Devastating there, where the storm made landfall as the most powerful storm to ever make landfall in southwest Louisiana in recorded history. And you can see the video that you're looking at right now is just into the Weather Channel. We just landed here in Beaumont, Texas. We were flying with the U.S. Customs Border Protection Air and Marine Operations. They picked us up in an A-Star helicopter that they kind of do a site survey with before they do any rescues that they would do with their larger Black Hawk helicopters. We flew over into, first what we saw was Holly Beach, which was just devastated and crushed. You could actually see the direction of the spin of the hurricane based on the way that the power lines came down. The folks from CBP were telling us that you can see the switch between the one side of the hurricane and the other side of the hurricane when you see the power lines start to go the other way. That was pretty interesting because they were doing a little bit of forensic meteorology as they were flying over this. But as we got right to where the eye of the storm came over in Cameron, you could see that that town was just literally squashed. In fact, we saw, I'm not sure what video you're seeing right now, but tomorrow morning we'll have more of it on, and we saw a house that literally came off of its foundation and was pushed into the middle of the main road in Cameron. So the house is standing there right in the middle of the roadway. I haven't seen any of that since Superstorm Sandy. That was the last time I saw a house that was picked up and pushed onto a roadway. That may happen in other storms, but personally, that's the first time that I've seen that since Superstorm Sandy, and it's been something like 8 years since that storm. As we got out of town, we did stop in Lake Charles to get some more jet fuel so we could get back to Beaumont and the crew could get back to Houston. And we actually ran into Lieutenant Governor of Louisiana, and we ran into the governor of Louisiana as well, John Bell Edwards, and he was telling me that this is kind of, as far as he knows right now, a success story because the warnings went out, and right now there's just a handful of deaths throughout Louisiana. There could have been so many more. It's not to say that the number couldn't go up in the future, but right now they are at a very, very low number of deaths confirmed throughout Louisiana, and I don't even know if there are any in Texas because there was very little impact to the Texas side of this. But he's been in contact with Texas Governor Abbott and in contact with all the other governors in the path of this storm. Remember, this is so powerful that it was still a hurricane far, far inland, and it's going to cross the entire United States, and it's going to head over possibly Europe as it keeps on going with its speed and just power that we saw come in full force in Holly Beach and in Cameron. It's really, really tough to look at these pictures, but just to
Dave,
know
did you?
I
know you flew over.
People got out.
Yeah, Dave, so it looks like from what I'm seeing that most of the video and where you overflew near the coast was in Cameron. But did you get any farther to the east over like Grand Chenier and Creole and Pecan Island, places that were wiped out in Rita that might have gotten the worst surge, since Cameron appears to have not gotten the worst surge that the storm had?
We actually stopped in Cameron. We only have a limited amount of fuel, so what we did was we landed in Cameron, did a couple interviews with people on the ground there, and then we moved on and tried to get back because of just the fuel that we have.
Right. Now, from what you've seen and talking to people very quickly, in fact, let me hold this question until after the break, but think about it, because in Rita, Cameron was essentially wiped off the map. Most of the structures were wiped off their foundation. Doesn't look like that happened this time, so I want to talk about how this compares to Rita in terms of the storm surge. Dave Malkoff will continue this conversation right after the break as we continue tracking Laura and the aftermath.
Ta-da! Did you know Liberty Mutual customizes your car insurance so you only pay for what you need?
Given my unique lifestyle, that'd be perfect. Let me grab a pen and some paper. Know what? I'm gonna switch now. Just need my desk, my chair, and my phone. Only pay for what you need.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
We know to wash our hands. Here's a reminder from Cetaphil to wash your face, too. Dermatologist recommended Cetaphil washes away germs in 20 seconds and leaves skin moisturized and healthy. Show your sensitive skin some love with Cetaphil.
Little choices make a big difference. Flavor. Discover the Mediterranean flavors and gentle bubbles of San Pellegrino Essenza. Add a twist of flavor.
I'm not hungry! You're having one more bite. No, one more bite!
Kraft, for the win-win.
Did you already brush your teeth tonight? Well, guess tonight's gonna be a two-brush night, right? Not sorry, Reese's.
Can't wait to tell everyone about AT&T's big 5G news.
AT&T has nationwide 5G?
Yep.
And that's faster?
Faster, yeah.
But is it reliable?
Uh-huh, and secure.
You should consider making a big deal about it.
Bigger?
I said bigger.
Oh, bigger deal, bigger than what I'm doing.
It's not complicated. A 5G network needs a 5G device. Now everyone, including existing customers, can get a free Samsung Galaxy Note 20 after trade-in.
Start your day with Secret. Secret stops sweat 3 times more than ordinary antiperspirants. With Secret, you're unstoppable. No sweat. Try it and love it or get your money back. Secret.
No sweat.
I'm Jimmy Dean, and sausage is a great deal like life. You get out of it about what you put into it. You put in quality, and you're going to get out quality, and that's what we do with Jimmy Dean. You have a wonderful day, all right?
A lung cancer diagnosis can leave you holding your breath. But Bristol-Myers Squibb is working to change things by researching new kinds of medicines that could help you live longer, including options that are chemo-free, because we're committed to bringing new hope into lung cancer care. Learn about our lung cancer research at lungcancerresearch.com.
Okay, everyone. Our mission is to provide complete balanced nutrition for strength and energy.
Great tasting Ensure with 9 grams of protein, 27 vitamins and minerals, and nutrients to support immune health.
How do you think they make Starburst taste so juicy?
Starburst? Juice-Dredic equation. Super top secret mathematical formula they keep stored inside a safe, inside a vault, inside a volcano.
Oh, Juice-Dredics.
Starburst, unexplainably juicy.
Breaking right now, Laura continuing to bring the threat of tornadoes across parts of the Mid-South. We've got a number of tornado warnings in effect right now, as well as a tornado watch. Of course, a watch means conditions are favorable for tornadoes to occur. And we've got that in Mississippi. up into western parts of Tennessee, including you in Memphis, and then into eastern parts here of Arkansas. So you can see these outer bands, or the spinning here with these bands from Tropical Storm Laura, and they are having little kinks and little areas of rotation all within these bands that are capable of producing tornadoes. So Craighead County, you're under a tornado warning right now. That includes you into Cache and into the Egypt area. Now this Jonesboro area, we've been watching several kinks within that line right here to the south and west of that town, including you in Gilkerson and the Nettleton areas. And then south of there, just to the west of Mark Tree, this is to the south and west of Interstate 555. We've got Poinsett, including the city of Harrisburg. We are getting word perhaps of a little bit of damage due to some trees coming down more than anything else within these areas. So we put on velocity mode where we can see the wind speed and direction, and where we have these colors right next to each other. There's a kink here, there's a kink here. Looks like we've got another one right up here, and then another one just to the north of the Tuckerman area. All within there, we could get tornadoes develop very quickly and touch down to the ground, cause damage, but then they could also lift up. So that's going to be the main line we're going to continue to watch here tonight. And then we've got another line that's set up shop right along Interstate 55 through parts of Mississippi, and DeSoto, Marshall, Tate counties, all under that tornado warning right now until 9 o'clock. So lowest level of your home, away from get as many walls basically between you and the outside of the home as you possibly can. A lot of folks in this part of the country, Dr. Knabb, don't have basements, so maybe a long night with this threat ongoing.
Absolutely. So much danger still remains, even though it is going from a tropical storm to a tropical depression overnight. Now, you've probably heard today that the storm surge in places like Cameron, Louisiana, and Lake Charles wasn't as high as it could have been because the storm went just far enough east to lessen the maximum surge in those areas. It was still bad. I mean, Calcasieu Pass near Cameron, over 9 feet of storm surge. That's still really high and really damaging. 4.5 feet up into Lake Charles. But what appears to have happened is because the center went very close to those areas, the maximum surge was likely farther to the east. And after the next few days and weeks of post-event analysis by the Hurricane Center and others, and FEMA, and the post-event forensic work that has to be done, we might still have 10, 15 or more feet of storm surge farther east. We'll have to see what happened in places like Grand Chenier and Creole and so forth. But our Dave Malkoff was able to fly over the coast as far east as Cameron, so he maybe didn't get to where the highest surge was. But Dave, you saw some significant surge, and I wonder if after you landed, when you talked to some folks, how did they compare the storm surge in Cameron in this event as compared to what happened in Rita?
It was really interesting when we landed with this crew from U.S. Customs and Border Protection Air and Marine Operations who were coming from Houston. When we eventually landed in Cameron, we couldn't find a single person who had stayed through the storm. It was just a ghost town. There was nobody around. The only people that we found who were there were people who had driven in from places like Beaumont and Finette, and they had come to check on their mother's home, which is a vacation home that she keeps there in Cameron. And they were hoping that the house would be still salvageable, but it looks like one of the staircases were ripped off. One of the guys was able to climb up on a back staircase and see inside the house, and it looked like the roof was so damaged that water was pouring in through the overnight hours, and it's really, really a mess there. Yeah, but
now, Dave, the worst of storm surge events are characterized by structures being completely wiped off their foundations. Now, yeah. I've seen some of that. Now, how many structures did you see where there was nothing left but the foundation?
There were a lot of concrete slabs that I saw as we were flying over. Not to say that there was or was not a home or a mobile home or any kind of structure on top of it, but there were a lot of empty concrete slabs. So that tells the story of something must have been pushed off of those concrete slabs in some of those cases. And in one case, as we said before, we saw a house that was in the middle of the main drag right there in the middle of the road. And so the house, we could see which concrete slab it came from, but a lot of the stuff was just kind of obliterated. If it was a mobile home, you really don't have much left in that wind and rain and storm.
Well, Dave, we want to continue to talk with you, so if we can hold you over one more time to the next break, and we'll talk about how it is that we got all those people out so they weren't there to experience the surge.
Summer is here, so it. Here are the rules for summer this year. Lays are preferred. Pants are optional. Backyards, bathtubs, and patios are always open. And snack time? Snack time is anytime. Recipes are better with Cheetos. Tostito salsa goes with everything. And bedtime? What's a bedtime? Yeah, summer rules. Frito-Lay, let's summer.
Is that net carbs or total? Not enough fiber. Chocolate would be good.
Snacking should be sweet and simple. The delicious taste of Glucerna gives you the sweetness you crave while helping you manage your blood sugar with nutrients to help support immune health.
I didn't order a pizza.
I know. But that Parker promo saved me so much on my insurance. I brought you a little something special.
Parker, State Farm offers everyone surprisingly great rates.
You're the man, man.
When you want the real deal, like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Introducing new Life Cuisine for your lifestyle. High protein, meatless, gluten-free, or low-carb lifestyle. Power up your day with new Life Cuisine. Delicious your way.
Our 12-step process provides 100% pure quality water.
Earn box tops for your school with Nestle Pure Life. Available across these fun packs.
Little choices make a big difference. Like delicious fruits and veggies. However you healthy. Naked.
Did you know that some aluminum-free deodorants only mask odor? Secret aluminum-free.
Tyson's motto was, when better chickens are hatched, we will hatch them. It's why all of the Tyson chicken that bears his name is raised with no antibiotics ever. Every nugget, strip, and drumstick. Keep it real. Keep it Tyson.
I wouldn't have my son if it wasn't for St. Jude. And I owe them a debt that I can never repay. Everything that happens here is because of what you do. My son got better because of you. Other kids are getting better because of you. The treatment that St. Jude develops and gives to the world is because of you. All the wonderful things that happen, they happen because of the money you give them to allow them to do that. Thank you.
There's a bunch of whole almonds in every bar of Hershey's milk chocolate with almonds. Don't believe us? See back for details.
The tornado threat ongoing tonight still from Tropical Storm Laura. We've got the risk area in red here where watches are in place from about Jonesboro, Arkansas down through Memphis along the I-55 corridor through Mississippi. So the banding that's been taking place here from Laura has got lots of little areas of spin to it, and each and every one of those could be producing tornadoes or could do that at any given time. So we'll start you up here near the Jonesboro area with our northerly warning. This is for Lawrence and Sharp counties here until 9:15 Central Time. That's in the state of Arkansas. So we're watching this band that's pushing up towards the north into the east. You need to get the lowest level of your home away from doors and windows and take your tornado safety precautions here tonight. And then into the Jonesboro area, Craighead County, we do have a tornado warning here. Now, there have been some reports to the south and west of Jonesboro of some tree damage. Nothing extreme at this time, but that gives you an idea. Even if there's not a tornado within here, there are some pretty strong winds within it that are causing some damage. So you definitely want to get to your safe place. There are multiple areas of rotation. So this one just south of Jonesboro, we've got one here to the west, another one just to the north and west. Looks like we may be one within this area, and certainly quite the strong signature here. This is near Lynn. So Lynn, you need to get to the lowest level of your home right now, away from doors and windows. These are moving pretty quickly up towards the north and to the east. Northeast. Then let's take you down here into the state of Mississippi. There's Interstate 55. This line has been producing a lot of rotation within it, and it's now tracking to the east of 55. So DeSoto, Marshall, and Tate counties under that tornado warning until 9 o'clock for tonight. No ground truth with this one, but there you can clearly see we've got a little bit of broad rotation with that. Again, that storm is moving on up towards the north. So lots of little areas, Dr. Nab, tonight that could spin up very quickly and cause some damage.
Oh, so many reasons to be taking shelter tonight, even outside of tornado warnings. A lot of trees are coming down. Now, you may have heard yesterday, in advance of Laura's landfall, the National Hurricane Center was saying that the highest risk area for the worst storm surge was expected to experience unsurvivable storm surge. And my take on why that wording made sense was because we know what happened back in Rita in 2005 in Southwest Louisiana, where a lot of structures were completely wiped off the foundation, and nobody can survive their home being wiped off the foundation. And our Dave Malkoff flew over the Cameron, Louisiana area today, and while they didn't get as high a storm surge as they could have, and maybe the higher storm surge of 15 to 20 feet was farther east, it was still near 10 feet. It was bad. And Dave, when we were talking before the break, you said that you did see some structures that were nothing left but the foundation, and that when you landed on the ground, there was nobody there. So it sounds like everybody got out. Have you heard any evidence that there was somebody left behind in Cameron during the storm surge, and did they survive, or did they have a story to tell?
Nobody was looking for anybody as we arrived there in Cameron, and also in the areas around there, like Holly Beach. But it was just deserted, and it comes to mind that is actually a success story because of that wording that you just described, the unsurvivable wording. When you hear that, and you think that, hey, we've seen this before over and over again here in Louisiana, and now we're hearing those stern words from the National Hurricane Center, that is what gets people to actually get out of town and not stay behind, because they know a monstrous hurricane is coming. And in a coastal town like Holly Beach, like Cameron, you don't have anything between you and the storm to slow it down. There are these little jetties out there, but that's not going to do anything to a dangerous Cat 4 hurricane to slow it down. So we had houses that were pushed off of their foundations, things that were obliterated, and it was just a nightmare scenario if people had stayed. But from talking to the governor, as I did today, John Bell Edwards, and from talking to the lieutenant governor, we think throughout everybody that they've been talking to, they think they're going to be able to keep these fatality numbers down. And not to say that couldn't rise after they go through homes, but right now it's just a handful of deaths, and that is because of that wording that came from the National Hurricane Center.
Yeah, and a storm surge warning was up. Evacuation instructions were issued. Now, when I've flown over storm surge damage and I've walked the ground, couple of things really stick in my mind that I'll never forget. Number one is that you see clear evidence that it was water that caused the damage, because you see things like boats and things that wouldn't normally be laying against a house or on top of a house. And then on the ground, the smell. It's a weird combination of the Gulf of Mexico and building materials strewn about. What are the sights and sounds that you've experienced that will stick with you for a long time?
The weird thing is the color of the Gulf of Mexico. It was a very, very dirty color, and as you know, it's a pretty clear water color usually, but because of the stirring action, there was like a really odd color to the Gulf there, and that's what the folks from CBP were talking about, that they had never seen that kind of color to the Gulf, because it's just been stirred up so much with so much debris in there, and also the silt from the bottom of the seafloor, and it's just very strange. And there were actually fish that were trying to get from one side of the road to another, and I'd never seen that, but there was a school of fish that were trying to get across the road, but there was only like 3 or 4 inches worth of water on the roadway, and then they couldn't really get across. We saw a lot of dead fish. But, I mean, there's a lot of sights and sounds to this that you will see tomorrow morning on AMHQ, starting in the morning when we put our full story together. You'll be able to take the ride with us, with the U.S. Customs and Border Protection, who came all the way from Houston and took us down there so we could experience what it's like right there where the hurricane made landfall.
The Weather Channel's very own Dave Malkoff having flown over and walked the ground in Cameron, Louisiana this morning.
My patients, I often see them have teeth sensitivity as well as gum issues. Does it worry me? Absolutely. They are both very much hand in hand, so you should really be focusing on both, and definitely at the same time. Sensodyne sensitivity in gum gives us a dual action effect that really takes care of both our teeth sensitivity as well as our gum issues. By brushing with Sensodyne sensitivity in gum at home, it's giving you the relief that you need and the control that you need to take care of your oral health. And it creates a healthier environment. There's no question it's something that I would recommend.
This summer, we've all got miles to make up. Miles to the job site, to the campsite, and anything else we set our sights on. Miles back to those who can make this summer mean more than ever. We can help you get the most out of those miles during the Ram Labor Day sales event.
Right now, get $7,300 in total values on the 2020 Ram 1500. Shop and buy online at ram.com.
It's so good to see you guys. Han, out here.
Are we on yet? I thought we were doing a Zoom thing.
Confused?
No.
Maybe you just need a Snickers.
Each year, Americans waste $21 billion by overpaying on car insurance. That's why I went to thezebra.com. Because while every company claims to save you money on car insurance, the Zebra shows you who actually can.
Compare car insurance for free at thezebra.com today.
Jumbo Snacks! Jumbo Tiger Paw Jumbo Crunch! Jumbo Fruit Loops Jumbo Flavor! Unleash never before seen Jumbo Snacks! Jumbo fun anytime! It's Jumbo! It's for snacking, it's Jumbo Snacks!
Here's Candace, who works from home and then works from home. But she can handle pickup even when her bladder makes a little drop off. Because Candace has poise. Poise under pressure and poise in her pants. It takes poise.
ThredUp presents The Cure for the Common Closet.
I know that sigh. You're suffering from common closet. Not common closet. But fear not, I have the cure. It's called ThredUp.com. It's the world's largest online thrift store with all of your favorite brands at incredible prices. Check out this J. Crew dress, $14. Boho weekend look, $25. You can pick your favorite colors, styles, brands, and voila!
Enter code NEW for up to an extra 50% off your first order at ThredUp.com.
Being a patient with diabetes myself, I can say without question that the Dexcom system is the most powerful tool to help navigate diabetes better on a daily basis.
I love it. I just wear a little sensor and that's it. It's totally painless and private.
The Dexcom sends my glucose readings to my receiver every 5 minutes. I just pull it out of my pocket and look, and I don't have to prick my finger.
Dexcom puts you in control, not your diabetes.
This is epic!
You're watching America's most trusted TV news network.
We've got a severe weather threat.
We are live on the ground. Right now, it's coming down.
The Weather Channel.